How you doing? Welcome back to the Educare Combs Snap channel. Today we're going to be analyzing the albums, how much they cost. We're going to be analyzing it through a variety of different methods and shop purchasing options. So it should be a full overview. You should pretty much know everything there is to know about album costs after this one. So it's a fun one, I guess. Let's get started. Hello everyone, so we are going to be analyzing how much do albums cost. I'm sure some of you have been expecting it. This was something I was curious myself, that's why I'm doing it. And then I figured out, oh, this is more work than I thought. But this is my current collection, right? I do have 6 Dan Hips and then none of the others, right? So I was just kind of curious if I wanted to get them, get the emote, how much would that cost me, right? So we're going to be going through a number of acquisition methods and shop costs. So there are 5 different things we're going to be analyzing, and then we're also going to be comparing the different ways of acquiring gold, right? So there's auto obtain rare variants and promo variants and daily, and then you're only getting the daily offers for the 1200. So this means that you are not buying any rare variants, right? You're going to just wait it out and say, okay, I will just, play the game normally. If I get rare variants, great. And then once I have all of them, then I can start buying these 1200 cost variants, and then that'll be my only expense, right? So that's like the cheapest way to do it, because you're not going to be able to get 1200 variants anywhere else. You need to spend the gold. So that's the deal breaker there. Next one is you don't care about waiting that long, so you're just going to buy all of the purchases through the daily offers. You're not using the featured mystery variants at all. You're just saying, I'm going to buy all the variants in the shop when I get them. That's still also going to take some time, but it's going to be significantly faster and possible. This is probably the most likely option for people that are trying to get them without spending too much. That's something to do, but we'll do the numbers. And then next one is the featured mystery variants. If you're lucky, I'm going to go into details what lucky means. And then there's featured mystery variants. If you're unlucky, I'm going to go into details for that. And then we're going to do, last one is a combination of both. We're going to be using daily offer shops, but then we're going to be using the featured mystery variants for the last 3. Now I'll explain why, but those are the ones we're going to be analyzing, and then nothing else is consistent enough to be recommended. So these are the ones I chose. And then we have a shop value of $100 for 8,000 gold. That is if you just buy gold through the shop. That's what it's going to cost you. And then we have the bundle value. So I do bundle guides, so I kind of know the average value of gold if you're going to spend money. Generally, if you are getting good bundles, you'll spend around $100 to get 10,000 gold. So that's what I'm going to be using. Now, in terms of shop purchases, right, there are better ones for more gold, right? So there's this one, right? The standard is like $30 for 4,000 gold, right? But if you are trying to get these albums, these emotes, there's not enough of those bundles to go around, right? You can only get that a couple of times, but there's way more $30 for 3,000 gold. So I'm just being generous. That's like the break point if you're going to be buying gold for through bundles. That's most likely what you're going to be getting. And the shop purchases are just like whatever. Now I will say bundle purchases increase the time investment, because you're not going to be, you can't just go in the shop, see like 10 bundles for $30 for 30,000 gold, buy all of them right day one. You can't do that. So you're gonna have to wait until they appear and then get them. So if you are trying to save some money, it will cost you time, but you can get better gold deals through the bundle selection. So just keep that in mind. Now, featured mystery variants you can look at the details. This is the drop table details, where every 12 featured mystery variants, you're going to get 6 rare variants, 3 super rare variants, and then 3 featured variants. Now, I wasn't sure, but I believe the featured variants are guaranteed to be needed for the album. So that's good. If they weren't, this would be horrible, right? So at least there's that, that pity timer there, where you can get some featured variants for your album, so that's kind of good. But you do have to spend 12. You have to buy 12 of these to guarantee the 3 featured. So every 12 you'll get 3. So if you want um, all 12 from the album through the featured, you're going to need 48, right? At most, right? If you're lucky, that means you buy the 12, you get the 36, and then the first 3 are the feature that you need, right? So you only need to spend 39. So the lucky is 39 of these, unlucky is 48 of these. So that's how we're kind of getting those breakpoints. I want to note some people might be like, I bought 12, but I didn't get 3 featured. You cannot get a variant for a card you don't own. So that's probably what happened, where you just don't own like Thanos or something, and then you try to get the variant and you can't get the Thanos one, right? So they're like, okay, well, I'll give you something else. So that's probably the reason if you're not getting this percentages, that would be the rationale there. And then, okay, I already explained this, so let's move on. So also there's one promo variant in this set of albums. It's the Jim Lee Magneto variant. So promo variants are usually promotion in some case, whether it's like to do this or go watch on Twitch or get the game. The Winter Wonderlands are considered promo. Many of these are free. So I would say there's a good likelihood that Jim Lee Magneto, when it does like come out officially, will be in a way that you can get for free. Now, some promos were not free. Now, I don't think the reception would make a lot of sense to do that. So I'm leaning towards that variant is going to be free. So that's in my calculations. I do have a note every time it shows up that, it's a promo variant. But I'm just explaining like why that number is different or why the calculations are like a little bit different for that particular album. So first off, right, we're going to go straight through it. It's the Dan Hip, Staying Hip. If you only wait until you get the 700 golds for free, you will get all of these for free, right? There's none that is a super rare. So all of these are obtainable just by playing the game. However, I will say that functionally, this is impossible because of how they add new variants to the game. You don't get that many new variants playing the game for free, or even just buying the season pass. You don't get that many for free, and they add more than you're generally going to get. So most likely, as time goes on, the amount of Dan Hip variants and just regular rare variants gets bloated to the point that you can never really catch up and get the correct set of 12 variants you need. Now, you could be lucky and do that, but functionally, this is not that achievable. You're going to have to, at some point, spend 700 gold to get it in the daily shop or something, right? But theoretically, right, since this is how we're doing it, you can get this album for free. So something to keep in mind. This is the only one that you can do this, and probably the only one that you'll ever be able to do this. But it is something that free-to-play players could just get if they're lucky enough without doing anything exceptional. So I just want to keep that in mind. But functionally, it's impossible. I'm just going to throw the realism in there. You're not getting this for free. All right. Same for Jim Lee. It's a little bit more expensive. So we do have a couple 700 gold variants. Ooh, I forgot to change the numbers. Give me 1 second, actually. Now, moving on to Jim Lee, here we can start seeing these 1200 variants that you cannot really acquire just by playing the game. You have to spend the 1200 gold. So if you do get the 700 gold, the rare for free, but you do have to buy the 1200 variants, that will still cost you 7,200 gold plus time, right? But plus the promo. But overall, essentially, if you buy through bundles, that will cost you $72. If you buy through the shop, that'll cost you around $90. So that's the ratio there. For Venomized Villains, same thing. There are also some rares you can get for free, but mostly if you're gonna buy it through the bundles, it'll cost you 96. If you'll buy it through the shop, it'll cost you 120. And then for Hellfire Gala, there are no rares in this one, so they're all just you have to buy through the shop. There's really no other way to realistically acquire this. If you do buy through the shops, you buy through the bundle system, you'll spend 144. If you buy through the shop, you'll spend 180. So it's pretty expensive in my opinion. So this is to get the albums, just buying the 1200 variants from the shop. No other real methods, nothing like that. Still pretty expensive to get these, so you have to really want these variants. You have to really want the emotes, but there are still other ways of acquiring these cards that we're going to go through. So I'll do all of them before we start analyzing it as a whole. So next up, we have doing only the daily offer shop. So this is no collecting the rares. I would say this is the most likely approach for people. Collecting the rares is so RNG and so could take forever essentially, that it's not, if you really want the emotes, right, the people that want to get the emotes, they're going to, they're going to pay that 800 gold or whatever, that 700 gold or whatever to get it. So I think this is the most likely breakpoints that you want to be looking for if you want to not spend too much but still get it in a like decent amount of time. So Dan Hip, it will still cost you 8,400 gold, so you're just buying them through the daily offer shop. That'll be $84 through bundles, 105 just buying through the shop, right? Not saving time. I mean, not spending time waiting for good bundles that you can buy, right? Jim Lee costs you 107 if you do bundles, 134 if you do the shop. So still up there. Renmai's Villains, 124 through bundles, 155 through the shop. And this is buying all of the cards, right? So this is just buying them straight through the daily offer shop, how much gold you're going to spend and how much the gold transfers back into money, essentially. And then Hellfire Gala, 144 through the offer shop. It's the same price, right? It's nothing changed, right? Since there's no rares to get, so same price, 144 to 180. Now here, this is using the feature and mystery variant system. So with this feature and mystery variant, every time you buy 12, you're getting 3 guaranteed, right? So to get all of them, you need to buy 39 to 48 of them. So we're calculating how much gold that's going to cost and how much that's in money. Now, to keep in mind that you are getting more variants, right? You're getting 9 other variants on top, right? And then the variants will be giving you like tokens, right? If you buy 10, stuff like that, right? Like, so you are getting extra stuff, but still, like, this is the raw money value it's going to cost you. So the interesting thing with feature mystery variants is there's no real distinction between whether it's a rare or a super rare. It's like if it's a featured card, it's going to be in that list, right? So the costs are pretty much the same throughout here. So it's 312,000 gold. So quite a lot, even for Dan Hips, right? Let's say you really need Dan Hips, you could spend 312,000 gold. Like that's at the lucky end, by the way, right? If you're unlucky and you have to buy all 48, that you're spending 38,400 gold. So that it translates to 312 to $384 if you're buying bundles. Now, the thing about that is it's so much bundle cost that you'd be spending so much time trying to wait for good bundles that it would take you too long, right? So you kind of have to default to shop cost here, because you're not going to spend like 3, 4, 5 months just like saving up buying good bundle over like half a year so that you can get your featured mystery variant, right? So most likely the people that would do this would just like buy 4 shops, 4 shop purchases for 88,000 in a row. So I will say like bundle cost is possible, but for this amount of money, it's very unlikely that you'll see enough bundles to cover the cost. Now the prices don't really change, so that's the interesting thing. No matter what variant you're getting, the prices are just stagnant since um, it's the same system for each. It doesn't account for rarity really. So there is a difference with this one. Since there's a promo that you might be getting for free, you can remove the promo cost, right? So 304 to 376 is still exactly very expensive, and the shop costs 380 to 470. So still pretty bad. Venmai Willems, you're back to the same, right? 312 to up to 480. Same thing for the Hellfire Gala, 312 to up to 480. So this is the most expensive way to do it. However, you can get this day one. Like as soon as you see a featured mystery variant, if you're willing to pay $300 to $500, you can just get the emote. Like, there are some streamers that did this, but it is doable. So if you really want the emote or something, you can just pay for it like that. Now it's very expensive in my opinion, so keep that in mind. And then last one we have is a little bit of both. So the issue with waiting for the daily offers is that you're not guaranteed to get all of them, right? You could be waiting a while, right? It's just RNG whether you get the right featured ones, especially for some of the ones with a lot of cards, right? You're not guaranteed to be getting the ones that are for the album. So what you can do is, instead of buying all of them through the featured mystery variants, you can buy the last 3. Now it means like 3 out of your 12 will be a featured mystery variant. So instead of having to buy 39 through 48, you only have to buy 3 through 12. So that lowers the cost a little bit, and you also get the last ones you need. Now, the way I'm doing this is there are always going to be 1,200 variants that you're getting the final for, so that's going to adjust the cost. It does make the Dan Hips ones a little bit more expensive since there's no 1,200 cost ones to get. But if you were to do that, you could be spending anywhere between 8,700 gold to 16,000, right? So the variance for featured mystery variants is so high because you could either get it in 3 shops or you could get it in 12. So that's such a huge variance that it basically can double the price depending on how lucky you are. So that's kind of the issue there. There's definitely some gamblers in the world that will do this, but you will on average be paying more regardless. There are some scenarios where you're paying less, but on average you're paying more. Jim Lee, same thing, 9,500 gold through 16,700. So that's between $95 on the lower end through 208, 209 on the higher end here. Same thing for Venmais, 112 on the lower end, 230 on the higher end. And then Hellfire Gala, 132 on the lower end, and then 255 on the higher end. So now that we have all of that data, we can kind of break the whole thing up here. So I have all of Dan Hips in one section, so you can kind of see if you were to auto obtain rares and more, it'd be free. If you were to just use the daily offer shop, it would take $85 to $100, but it also costs you time. If you were to just use the featured mystery variants, it costs you $300 to $500. Don't do that, by the way. Don't do that. If you were to use the daily offer shop, but use a feature just to get the last 3 to like speed run that, it would cost you anywhere from 87 to 200. So it could be the same price as the daily offer shop, but it could also be double the price. So you do have to be careful about that. That's the gambler's fallacy right there. More likely it's going to be in the middle, right? So you're still paying more. And I'm using both shop values and bundle values for ranges just to make it look nice generally. If you need the full data, I have it in the earlier parts of the video. Same thing, Jim Lee, right? If you were to get all the rares for free, it still costs you $72 to $90 plus time, plus the promo. Same thing with the daily offer shops, a little bit more expensive, 107 to 133 plus time plus promo. Once you use the featured mystery variants, you lose a lot of that time. You speed run it, but it's costing you $300 to $500. So And then if you were to just use the feature for the last three, it'd be 95 through 208. So something interesting is there, since your featured mystery variants can give you those 1200 gold variants, there is a chance that you will save money using the featured mystery variants. But you're not going to. Why am I giving you hope? You're not. There's a chance, right? You might be spending 75 instead of 107, but on average, right, the casino wins, right, and on average you'll be spending more. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, it's just designed like that. And then Fenmai's villains, right? You're paying 96 to 120, or if you're using the featured shop for the last three, right, you could be paying 112 to 230. So these are just the ratios here, and then the Hellfire Gala is the most expensive, of course. So just some data in it. I wanted to do it, didn't realize it would take so long. But now that we have all of this data, right, I do have like my overall thoughts, right? Overall, my personal bias, I don't recommend this at all. I think this was not done in a way that makes a lot of people happy just because it's so expensive. And these are for emotes. And you got to keep in mind that more albums are coming, right? If this was like, hey, you buy this and you get all the emotes forever or whatever, like maybe. Even then, but like there would be something. But every time you want a new emote, you've got to spend like $100 to 200 to 500 if you want it like day one. Like to get that is just so expensive, and it's just not something I think really helps the the enjoyment of the game or anything like that. It's like, oh, do I want to spend here? Now, you could definitely argue that these albums are not to be speed run. They're more of a marathon where you slowly over time get these variants and things like that. However, the issue is that a lot of these variants are 1200 goals that you're not going to be getting for free. So it's not really a marathon. It's like a marathon that you have to pay to walk a step, right? You have to pay that 1200 gold to walk, So it's not like you can wait and then you'll get it. You can wait and then use your gold to buy these variants over time. But is that the best use of your gold if you're a free-to-play player? Absolutely not. It's a horrible use of your gold if you're a free-to-play player. Use it for good bundles for progression. So, like, it's just, you're not going to be spending your gold on variants if you're a free-to-play player. So it's not for free-to-plays. It's just for the people that are willing to spend. So it sucks because this is a big, it's a big update for them. It's a big time investment, right? A lot of development time obviously went into this featured and all that extra stuff going for it, but it sucks that really only heavy spenders and whales can really take advantage of it, and I'm not a big fan of that at all. So that's my overall kind of issue with it. So I was kind of curious, right? Overall, you'll be spending over $100, upwards to 250, 200, right? If you want to get them slowly. If you want to speed run, it'll take you 300 to 500. So that's a little bit too much, right? So interesting video. I was curious. Now I know the data. What are your thoughts? I know your thoughts. You know what? I don't want to hear. Anyways, that is the video. Hope you guys got the information you need. Take care of yourselves and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Educated calling snap. Once you watch him, you won't go back. He'll teach you to marvel snap. Your skills will be